Hi, welcome to Therapy for Nerds, psychoeducation through nerdy topics. My name is Cassidy. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. And if you like this video combining nerdy topics and psychological theories, then please like, comment, and subscribe. So Home Alone is one of those classic Christmas movies. You really can't go the season without watching it, at least for most people. I personally didn't really grow up on Home Alone because I was a super empathetic child and continue to be a super empathetic adult, and watching the bad guys get hurt, even though they're bad guys, is still very difficult for me to watch. But I digress. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 because I watched it recently and it was just a little funny to me, so we're gonna do another therapist thoughts, maybe? Although I did want to particularly talk and provide some psychoeducation around the term IP, or identified patient, which in the therapy world is particularly family therapy world, is when one person in a family comes in for therapy because to the entire family, that guy is the problem. Yeah. Even though, as a marriage and family therapist, I understand that it's not typically just one person. It is typically something within the family system that's really affecting the family in general and can be manifested in that one particular person. So let's look at our hero in Home Alone, Kevin McAllister. So this kid gets left home alone. And in the first movie, he asks for this. He wants to be alone. He is super just upset at his family. Why? Well, for a number of reasons. In the first scene, we see him being pushed aside and ignored, and everyone's calling him a small child and how he should just grow up, and why doesn't he know what he should pack? How stupid of a kid who probably hasn't done that much traveling unless this family is really rich, which granted, this is a very big house with a lot of people and they're going to France. So yeah, family is probably pretty well off, so there is the possibility that they have gone traveling multiple times, but he's still a pretty young kid, and it's understandable that he would need some guidance in what he should pack. He's asking some pretty legitimate questions that are being just completely flat out ignored. Then there's him being saddled with the one child that always wets the bed. This is a well-known issue within the family, and they're just expecting him to be okay with sharing a bed with this other child? Like, I wouldn't want to wake up in someone else's pee. That sounds awful and disgusting. So he's understandably upset about that. If anything, well, I'm not going to get into what the family should be doing for a little bit. And then the last straw is when the older brother eats the last slice of cheese pizza, which is the only kind of pizza that he likes. And pizza, as my husband has told me, is very territorial for brothers in particular. I won't understand that. So after all these little things build up, we see Kevin react. And he'd done a decent job of not reacting up until that point, but that was just his final straw. Enough was enough, and he has a big reaction. The family doesn't see or doesn't understand that there was a lot of little things building up to this point, so they immediately chastise him and blame him for the whole thing. Even though the older brother was really egging it on, and I never understood why he doesn't get some sort of pushback from the adults in the room. And so the mom punishes him and throws him upstairs, and then they forget him. The next year, the older brother again does something really just cruel. He makes fun of the little brother while he has his solo in the choir thing, which this poor kid, like, he has his shining moment in choir. Probably one of the very few times people actually listen to him, one of the very few times where he gets a real voice. And his older brother spends the whole time making fun of him, so everyone's laughing at him. This kid already feels like a laughingstock. And then we get to see the older brother's apology, or non-apology. He's just saying a bunch of fancy words to make it seem like he is sorry for his actions when we all know he's really not. And he doesn't really try to hide the fact that he's not. And Kevin is just supposed to forgive and forget. And he's also supposed to apologize for acting out. which I understand him needing to apologize for acting out, but at the same time, not enough attention is given to the fact that he wouldn't have needed to act out in the first place if the older brother had been given him just a little bit of common human decency. Especially the uncle who's just like, oh yeah, that was so funny. Ha 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 ha. What kind of grown man encourages that kind of behavior? It's just not okay. So Kevin gets upset, of course, again, and they have the same talk as last year. And then, of course, he gets his own wacky adventure. There's a lot of takeaways from just those two opening scenes. We can already see that the family blames a lot of its issues on this one kid. So if the family were to come into my office and want therapy, chances are they would be seeking it for Kevin. He would be the identified patient. And so, as the identified patient, I would have to first work with him on the way he reacts to his family, and then also I would have to work with his family on how they react to him. Especially given his age, it would be good to work with the mom too, to have some consultations and give her some parenting tips and advice on how to distribute the responsibility of behaviors, and definitely work with him on how to use I statements, just better communication in general. This is also very willfully ignoring his gleeful nature when it comes to destroying the villainous adults around him. Yeah. So anyways, this has been some therapist thoughts, digging deeper into a holiday classic than an English teacher digs into Of Mice and Men. If you liked this video providing psychoeducation through nerdy topics, please like, comment, subscribe, all that other YouTubery stuff. Bye!